Oh, hey, you're finally awake.
Alrighty.
Got caught trying to cross the border, didn't you?
Okay. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 210. This is the great debate. Is anime cursed? Curio version 2e9. I don't know. Year 2, episode 9. I have no idea. Anyway, oh boy. Curio, back again. Home again. 34 and a half minutes. Curio looks a little different in this episode. I don't know why. Maybe he just likes to have fun with his appearance. That's totally cool. Whatever you want to do on camera is your business. And that's great.
You want to start an OnlyFans? Go do it.
Yeah, go for it. Whatever.
Want to start Only Clowns website.com?
Only Clowns is pretty much just YouTube, so it doesn't make a difference. It's just the same.
That makes sense of why you're here.
I'm not denying it. We are here to entertain.
Oh my god, Fallout New Vegas looks incredible.
Okay, so, Curio, if you don't know, this dude is very left-leaning, has a strange taste in makeup and wardrobe, so whether he likes to dress up like a clown or not is his business. We don't judge him based off that, though we do have a good chuckle. And we try to pay attention as best as we can until he says crazy stuff, but that's just any YouTuber anyway, so that's when things go off the rails. But he's a gem. He's a wonderful, wonderful fellow.
Is he?
Oh, he's got a whole heart of love in him. You just say hello on Twitter. I'm sure he'll be very, very friendly. He's very, very accepting of other opinions and people from different walks of life. Very nice person.
Curio.
Okay, so who's ready? We're all ready to get started?
Oh,
34
the Curiosity Rover came up on Twitter. That's cool. It's verified. It's a verified Twitter account.
I'll take that as a yes. All right, let's keep going.
Section 1. The meme.
Oh,
the legend.
Section 1.
I should probably start this video by thanking all my new subscribers. I can see about 2,000 people have subscribed since I released my video on BPD.
So this is a different appearance for Curio, if you don't know. This is him without the makeup. So voila.
I am
I
under.
don't remember him wearing makeup, so
How could you not?
he's just a very forgettable person to me.
Oh, and of all the people I've seen on YouTube, Curio is visually not a forgettable person.
He doesn't have a Twitter.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh. Well, alright then.
I'm quite sure he does. Yes.
He has a link on his about page. Read my incredible tweet. Oh my god. Okay, I see what you mean.
There we go. Okay, I believe we've enlightened Zach. Okay, good to go.
Alright then.
My personal experience with borderline personality disorder.
Whoa. Let's slow down there. Let's start again.
I should probably start this video by thanking all my new subscribers. I can see about 2,000 people have subscribed since I released my video on BPD. My own personal experience with borderline personality disorder, my struggles, my experience of stigma around mental health. Today we're talking about anime.
Wait.
I just got whiplash.
Wait, what? He claims to have borderline personality disorder?
Yeah, borderline personality disorder.
Is that diagnosed or self-diagnosed?
He would have to have a diagnosis from someone to even admit to that. You can't just throw that line around.
Oh no. You don't know borderliners. I mean, you have a background in psychology, but I don't know how much direct experience you have with these. Whether they are properly diagnosed or not, they will tell you. They will tell you because they think it's something to the lesser they know about the condition, the more likely they are to use it to garner sympathy, or they try to minimize the danger it poses for people around the in question. It can be quite sinister. Whether this is one or is a false positive, because that happens a lot, especially I can say that about Germany. In Germany, they throw the diagnosis around like confetti. And that is very, very, very bad malpractice.
The problem, even I remember from studying in psych, BPD is very
I love that
hard
show.
to figure out. The behaviors, the mood swings, everything, it could be always something else. You never quite know. But we're talking about everything from type A, type B people, like jumps between those things, high levels of anxiety, like just manic stuff.
Yes, very, very different manifestations, because there's 9 main symptoms, and for a diagnosis you need 5 of those. So you can guess your combinations, your variants of combinations with that. Although you have there are a few common ones. For the viewers, I would suggest for a primer on borderline personality disorder, and that has helped some friends figure out whether they had a false diagnosis, because I knew people who had the real condition, and I knew people who were falsely diagnosed. They just had very severe trauma, but they did not have borderline. Check out the channel Med Circle. There is a hour or 2 hour talk or interview by or with Dr. Ramani Dovasula. She is one of the leading experts on the topic. And the host is a bit forgettable and annoying, but her explanation of borderline personality disorder and its symptoms can give you a very good idea of whether you're might be dealing with a real one or someone who's been misdiagnosed, or whether you've been misdiagnosed.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about people who have suicidal tendencies to just people who want attention. So you have this huge range of behavior which is self-inflicted, and
there's a lot of abandonment anxiety to the irrational. I think the most defined, or one of the most relevant points about a borderliner is an absence of rationality. They're hyper emotional, and in the most extreme of cases, that they're so delusional that they cannot discern from their thoughts and fantasies and dreams and reality. In the sense that they dream you did something to them, a slight, an insult, or whatever, and then after they wake up, they start, because they're often very vengeful as well, because they're very emotional. They will start a revenge campaign, a revenge plan for what you did in their dreams. And sometimes they will even tell you that you did that in their dreams, and they think that's completely rational. So there are very extreme cases of borderline, and it's not fun. You usually learn it too late.
Right. So what I'm going to do is just sort of ignore that this person has problems, or admit, because I don't like going with the bias, like, oh, I have problems, please feel sorry for me, or I have problems, I'm a special case, I have a more sensitive outlook. It's like, no, you're a person. I'm going to treat you like a person.
Yeah.
And listen to your argument as anyone else. So
yeah, and just because you say you have that doesn't necessarily mean you have that. So I will judge people who tell me they have that. Yeah, I will be more apprehensive, but I will still, because I know people who are misdiagnosed, I will still be on the lookout. Does this person make good points or not?
Exactly.
That is the first relevant point, because the stigma is that once someone has this, it's over. A borderline misdiagnosis is essential for me, to my experience with people, is on the same level as a misdiagnosis of psychopathy, of antisocial personality disorder, because no sane therapist will want you anymore. Because you can't do much for these people except in closed therapy with very thorough. So in a clinic with what's it called? DBT, dialectic behavioral therapy. It's basically teaching you what you should have figured out in your teens or in your youth on your own, like questioning yourself of whether what you just felt was justified. Because the joke is, And this is what we see in feminism so often, for the very reason that it seems to cluster the cluster B personality disorders, of which borderline is one. That when they say, "Oh, but my feelings are facts," yeah, but your feelings can be wrong. Your feelings can be, yes, you have the feeling you have right now. That is a fact. But the feeling you have right now can be predicated on you having completely misunderstood the situation. And that is the relevant part. And that is what DBT is supposed to teach you. So any feminist or borderliner Tumblrite online who tells you, but my feelings are facts, so you have to yield to my every whim. Oh, here's some crocodile tears.
Right.
That person needs therapy.
Yeah, we could argue this. I don't want to get into the psychology of Curio. Let's focus on the actual topic.
Sorry, I had to get carried away, and I wasn't hopping on Curio yet. I don't know anything about him. It's just that when someone starts with this and people don't know anything about this condition.
Oh God, yeah. There's so much to cover in psychology. I just don't like people saying, "Oh, well, I have this, therefore X." It's like, well, okay, that's nice, but I mean, show me what you're talking about. Let's focus on the issue. Yeah. So I wish he didn't say anything. Honestly, I wish he never started this off with, "I have a mental." It's like, we don't care. Stop it. Just get to the point.
Yeah, keep that to yourself. Go to therapy. Have a happy life.
Exactly. Okay, let's go.
So if you aren't actually an anime fan, you've probably only dependably seen the sort of childhood classics. You know, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Just pretend I had a Digimon thing. Just pretend Digimon was good. But what if I told you that Yu-Gi-Oh was bad?
You there! Stop right now! Nani? I mean, what? I'm a lawyer from the Konami Corporation. This is a cease and desist letter. You have to stop talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And all other Konami properties on YouTube.com right now! You won't get away with this! Actually, we will. We know you can't afford to dispute a costly lawsuit. Well, you can't afford for me to kick your ass!
Gah! Fine, we'll settle this the old-fashioned way. Standard rules 4,000 life points, and if you lose, you have to cease this video essay immediately.
Fine, but if you lose, I'm gonna send you to the fucking Shadow Realm. Gah!
Really? That's your dueling outfit?
Yeah, it's comfy. I summon Time Wizard in attack position.
Get him, Eric!
Go on, Eric, give him what for.
What the hell?
This'll show him. I summon...
Okay, so he's obviously doing a skit about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a dumb anime. I don't watch it. It's for kids. We get it.
I think it's drawn out too long.
Yeah.
It's a nice job on the editing. I think the Asian dub thing is played out a bit too long. But
yeah.
Okay.
Gravekeeper's in attack position.
Whoa!
It seems very low energy.
What the fuck? What the heck? Wow, that's a yikes.
So I wanted to do a little video about Yu-Gi-Oh! As an example of cultural appropriation. Mostly harmless.
Okay, so... oh boy. So anime is, if you don't know, is a smorgasbord of ideas. There's all these tropes. There's all these ideas with the genre, with the medium, with the manga, with the light novel, with whatever. Whatever comes under the realm from the artist, they'll slam it together and make ideas. So cards, depicting things from other cultures, we see a lot of it. We see a lot of depictions of America in anime, or Americans, or black guys from America, or whatever. And it's funny because that's the stereotype. They're going with the stereotype of the big black dude from America, or the Italian, or whatever. So that's part of anime.
Yeah, or that all Germans are either Nazis or Bavarians.
I don't know about that trope or that pattern, but they will.
It's the only Germans you see.
Oh yeah, the only Germans in anime are Nazis. Okay.
Or Bavarians.
Okay.
Who are not German.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Sure. Let's just keep going.
Example, some degree of insensitivity. You know, it is still one culture appropriating the imagery of another, but it's not quite as clear cut as, say, white Americans appropriating the imagery of indigenous American
Wait, I have
religion.
a question.
I thought it would be a fun way to learn about that.
Yes. What it looks
Message
like
coming in.
a gypsy.
Patching it through.
I can't tell. I'd have to zoom in on it. Yeah.
That's the one he showed before, where one of them said "Yikes."
Yeah, because the picture of the guy was bending over or whatever he's holding in his hand.
That is and he's complaining about the cultural appropriation of this depiction.
Yes.
I would have thought he'd be complaining about a racist depiction of an ethnic group. That would make more sense.
I think he's getting to that. I don't know yet. Alex Halo, thank you. Who wants to tell him that the Shadow Realm was censorship and people actually died? One episode was inspired by the Saw movie. See, this is the problem with anime, that we don't know all the insight to how things were made. And there's multiple influences from artists and writers and animators. So everyone steals from everyone in art. That's how it goes. I don't care if they call it cultural appropriation. It does not matter.
It's not stealing when you blackwash.
You can use it. You're allowed to use history. You're allowed to use modern art. You're allowed to use products. Well, to a degree. You can't use like Coke, but you can make your own like version of Coke with the swirl and the red can. You call it Cokeo or whatever. Like you call it something else. You can get away with that. And that happens a lot. There's all kinds of funny McDonald's or versions of McDonald's in anime. Like a hamburger joint. It's like, we know it's McDonald's, but they can't say McDonald's. Or Sony. Sony's a big brand in Japan. They can't call Sony. It'll be Sony.
Often it's Sodi.
Yeah, it's something stupid like that. But we get it. We understand why they can't do it. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And with this, I think before they made this cultural appropriation stuff up, we called it inspiration.
Yeah, it's just we're inspired by whatever in life, in culture, in technology, in music.
Yeah, and these are our ideas about each other, and they're fine. There's rarely something harmful with it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like, think of when Neil Gaiman asked one of his artists to draw the devil, and he says, I want you to draw David Bowie. And that's it. Just draw David Bowie, like period. Just draw David Bowie. And that was it. No one had any problems. David Bowie didn't give a shit. That's fine.
Mm.
That's a British man asking another British man to draw a British man, a famous British man in his comic book that he's selling as a product to sell. So
I could even guess that David Bowie would be honored to appear in a depiction from Neil Gaiman.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with a lot of these things, but you have to be careful with brand names because there's a big corporate attachment to that, so it makes sense with copyright and many other things and legalese.
In general, once people are very, very public figures, like so well known that everybody's heard your name at least, they usually only care that they're depicted in a fitting way. That it's not just the looks, but that it fits the character somehow.
You know,
like God, what was his name? Old metal guy. There were comics about him. He had this invented character. I can't remember the name. Everybody knows this. You know this guy. He always looks like not like a corpse. As a top hat sometimes.
A top hat.
I think he did some bad advertisements lately.
Not Monopoly, not Mr. Moneybags.
No. I'm just my brain's dead today.
Okay, well I'm thinking of like an actual sponsorship from Atlas, who makes the Persona games, or Persona series. I remember some guy made an animation. He's a YouTuber who does animations. And it was about, this is basically Persona 5. And he pretty much just bashed the game for 3 minutes. And he's actually he's plugging the game at the end of his bashing. And he was sponsored by Atlas. Like, this is hilarious. Like, they don't care. Bash the shit out of our product. Make fun of it. Have a good time animating all the jokes about Persona 5 and sell the game while you're... They're like, great. Yeah, get people to know about our product. We don't care. So the Japanese have a bit more leeway when it comes to getting their name out there, getting their product out there. They're very humble. They're very dedicated. And they're open to making a deal. So I don't think they give a shit about cultural appropriation. Yeah. One, either it's to them or against them. They don't care.
Yeah. I don't know who told it to me. Maybe it was on a Smudcast even, or afterwards. But the creator of Bayonetta, woman, by the way.
Yep.
She was upset only once about a fan hentai of erotic manga that featured Bayonetta, but not because the character was, but because she was shown as being submissive in the act, and she said that's wrong. Change that.
Yeah, no. See, the artists respect the adult community of people who draw doujin, where they literally just take the name and depictions of these characters. And it's very similar to the whole cosplay scene as well, because all they want out of the cosplay is a proper rendition of the character. Do they look and act the way they should? If they do, good. You've copied it properly. And you can do whatever you like. You can make your own money. We don't care. But if it's off by like, okay, this is not how she would act. This is not how, if she had a romantic relationship, how she would behave. There has to be some like mind control or something to cause them to act differently. So there has to be proper setup with the characters. And those are the best kinds of stories, whether they're adult or otherwise, because you just take the character, do some fan fiction, and they say, oh, this is what they would do in this scenario, or if they had technology or science fiction or whatever. So Japan knows this. A lot of stuff is born. A lot of artists are created from doujins or taking ideas and making them different. So it's a give and take. It's a good thing. They love it. And we should embrace this more in the West, but we don't because we're crazy. Yeah. Copyright's driving us nuts.
And usually when they complain about cultural appropriation, it is things that are still honoring the spirit at the heart of the thing that is being copied in some form or other. And that's the good version of it, the inspiration version, not the I'm gonna take your stuff and defile it with my greedy, grubby hands. No, that's not what's happened.
Fans do not. This is I talk about the a while ago, the Chrono Trigger Resurrection program. Like it was this. They made a whole game trying to do a sequel to Chrono Trigger. It was like 90-something% done. And all of a sudden, Square just brought down the ban hammer with the cease and desist. And it's like, really? Like they were not even going to make any money. They were just going to release it to the public. And man, there's so many projects like that, passion projects. Fans just take it. So sometimes Japan is good, sometimes Japan is bad. It really depends on the corporation. But
yeah.
Anyway,
Sony hasn't really shown its good sides as of late.
Yeah, but to call this cultural appropriation is just a joke. It's just a silly buzzword that doesn't.
It's newspeak brainwashing.
It's ridiculous.
It's a mind control trick, if you ask.
Let's keep going. Tyler Preston, thanks for the donation. Curio is fugly with or without makeup on and has a fugly personality because of how narcissistic he is. I don't know. I don't want to guess these people's whatever psychologist they went to figure them out. Just read his tweets and you'll get a good idea of what I'm talking about. I stopped reading them and I'm a much better person because of it. So let him be Curio. Let him do his thing. That's totally cool. All right, let's keep going.
You know, I thought a fun framing device would be to have a Yu-Gi-Oh battle. So I ordered some cards. And among the cards that showed up was this one. Like, yep.
Oh, so he thinks this is a depiction of the Jewish guy. the money grubbing.
With the clothes, it looks more like a gypsy.
He has a pointed nose. Whether the propaganda one with the Jewish man is more of a larger nose.
The Happy Merchant, I think it's called.
I see nothing wrong with having people with pointed noses. I mean, I come from Italy. We have all kinds of people with giant Roman noses. So there's all kinds of people from different cultures with giant noses. Look to India, look to Poland. We've got all kinds of people with big schnozzes. It's not a big deal.
Here in Germany, it's the common thing. It's why they who made that? I think it was a Chinese slur initially, or Japanese, where they refer to us as potato noses or something.
Oh, really?
Maybe I'm mixing something up, but yeah.
Anyway, he is reaching with this. I'm sorry, but if he thinks this is some attack on Jewish people, that's crazy. I'm sorry.
You remember the cartoon lady from a couple days ago?
Oh, do we have to?
Well, she was seeing the gay everywhere.
Well,
he's seeing the racism everywhere.
All we could figure out, well, that's true, but all we could figure out, that was her fetish. Like, she just thinks, oh my God, gay relationships and animation is amazing. You're like, what?
I am 100% sure this is the same type of obsession.
Only one is hatred and one is attraction?
Well, love and hate look quite similar in the brain, so it's not that far away from each other.
Okay, I'll go.
They're both attractive forces. They're both forces of attraction. If you want to get rid of someone, you need some apathy and disgust.
I know. I just find it funny that he's whining about a card game and calling it cultural appropriation. It's like, come on, dude.
By the way, it's a Japanese product. You're not saying the Japanese are racist.
You know how much stuff that the Japanese appropriate, if you want to use that term in that sense? Everything. From food to drink to freaking cartoons, guys.
Dude, you're watching anime. That is a Japanese cultural thing. You're appropriating their culture.
Yeah. How did we get Yu-Gi-Oh! In the States or in Europe? Gee, I think someone licensed it.
Anime really only got big because people were downloading it and sharing it on the street, copying VHS tapes they imported from Japan. That was before people had internet.
It was a black market. It was bootleg copies.
Yeah, because no one wanted to license this, because it was just all the television networks thought, oh, this is just cartoons. We have cartoons, so we don't need to import cartoons from Japan. That's just for kids.
And not only that, but
yeah,
manga and anime is gigantic. Like, to say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is bad or this instance of anime is bad is like, okay, maybe it is. Maybe this is a horrible thing. Maybe you're offending a bunch of Jewish lunatics who are freak out over every depiction of what people thought the Jews were bad or whatever 100 years ago. Whatever. Oh no, you can't say the entire genre. Sorry, the entire medium of anime is cursed or appropriational nonsense bad. Like, it's like saying basketball is bad because there's a bunch of black people and there's no white guys or whatever. It's like, wait a second, no, that's not the reason. They're not discriminating against because of your race. It's because you're 6'5" or whatever. You could dunk a freaking net.
What game does basketball originate from?
Either Canada or US. I don't remember. Might have been
no, not the country, but the base game. Because I know what the Americans call soccer here in Germany was played very, very differently in medieval times.
Oh yeah.
It was a mob, and there was one guy. For some reason, I don't know why it was called football, because there was one guy who held the ball and was trying to get it to the goal, and everyone was trying to get the goal. So it was just a big mob moving around. It was weird. But yeah, these are European-inspired games.
Yeah.
Was a rugby thing. Football is a rugby form, if I'm not mistaken. American football.
I don't know the actual history of American football to say how it worked or came about.
Yeah, well, also mainly playing. Lots of African Americans there. What's up with that? Why are they culturally appropriating that?
Lacrosse, like we can go crazy with all these field sports. It's like, no. Someone stole it from someone European or vice versa. It's like, oh no, that's bad. You can't do that. It's like, why?
I think the greater question is, when is it cultural appropriation and when is it representation?
I honestly do not care about the debate because it's silly. It's a silly thing. If I'm inspired...
Of course it is.
Yeah, I know.
When is it that they make the distinction between, is this racist, cultural appropriation, or a representation? And I think it's solely about how positively depicted is it. And is the person who made it of the same category of thing that is being depicted? Oh god, words. They are not ethno-nationalists, like what's said about the right wing. They are ethno-culturalists. They draw the borders, the lines between the cultural things, and nothing is allowed to move over to the other.
I just remember going to art school or art class, and the whole concept behind that was to copy what the teacher was teaching. To say, this is my visual representation of a ball or a castle, or here's a technique to learn how to draw these things. And you would just copy what they're doing. And it didn't matter what we were drawing. It didn't matter if we were drawing a Japanese woman or a dragon from Europe or whatever. Just draw the way we taught you to draw. We're not culturally appropriating stuff. We're not like, I'm going to do a Chinese dragon, or I'm going to do this. It's like, no, you do whatever you like, and you're learning as you go. And that's what people do normally outside of a classroom. They say, hey, look, anime. I can draw big eyes and crazy hair and all kinds of action lines. Sure you can. What's wrong with that? Learning a new style, learning a new way to draw. But this way, you're going to offend the Jews because it's a card game and they're making this potentially similar looking image. Anyway, we can go ramble on for more, but we're going to stop now and keep going.
DWLW said in the chat, the history of basketball began with the invention in 1891 in Springfield. It's very young sport. Massachusetts, by Canadian physical education instructor James Naismith, as a less injury-prone sport than football.
Interesting.
Original American.
Thank you, Canadian, for working in America and appropriating American sports or whatever, which was taken from European sports.
Whatever this means now, whatever that means.
Yeah, I know. We're all steal. The Canadians stole it first. No, the Americans. No, the Europeans stole it. Wait a second.
Have a little chat today about why anime is so fucking cursed.
Oh, don't you rant on Mr. Popo. Everybody loves Mr. Popo. Seriously.
Oh, no.
Everybody loves Mr. Popo.
So, Akira Toriyama is a racist, guys. He's a horrible...
Do you love Mr. Popo?
Honestly, I don't know all the names in Dragon Ball. But you see Akira Toriyama's influence all throughout anime, video games, manga. It's everywhere. So, I don't care. I really don't care the skin tone of this fellow. It does not bother me.
He's not even a human.
I know. They're all ghosts or aliens or whatever.
Mr. Popo is super wise, super powerful. And he just stands there and looks at you with his beady eyes. And it's just... He stares right into your soul, yet he's the friendliest guy you'll ever meet. It's just Mr. Popo is awesome. You want to change Mr. Popo? That means you hate Mr. Popo.
No, you're racist. I
love Mr. Popo just the way he is. You don't. You have a problem with his skin color.
Yeah, he
You're the
does.
racist.
Curio is the one with the problem. We were just sitting there going, "What's wrong with Mr. Popo?" He's fine. Oh boy.
Let's examine this idea. Anime is cursed.
No, it's
there
not.
are several compounding factors on what is essentially just a popular internet meme. First off, creepy bullshit, as well as the race.
No, it's not. Dude, have you looked in the mirror lately? Who's the creepy one in this conversation? Tell us why anime is creepy. First you say it's cursed, now it's creepy. When was it when was any medium in art cursed?
Why do you watch creepy stuff?
Why do you care about stuff you dislike? We watch crazy people because they're entertaining and they're lunatics. Almost like you. I think, you're not that crazy because you actually have a brain. Like Curio's a smart guy. He has some intelligent things to analyze and make good observations with. But he's starting backwards. He's saying, "Hey, anime is cursed." You're like, "No, that's a false pretense. You can't just say something's horrible. Give us reasons why." So now he's going into his reasons, and we're going to evaluate each of those reasons. And the first one doesn't make any sense. You're like, "Okay, dude, come on."
The misogyny,
Hey,
the
guys.
use of bizarre.
Hey, Zach.
I
Hello.
gotta run. I have to take my cat to the emergency room.
All right.
I will.
Oh.
I don't know if I'll be back tonight, but
All right. No problem.
Okay. Hope it gets better.
All right. Let's keep going.
Homophobic types of queer-coded effeminate men, and other tropes that hurt minoritized communities. There is a well-recognized
I
trend.
barely heard what he said. Let me just rewind that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wanted to complain about this before. He can take the effort for all the editing he did, and the costume changes and all of that, but he can't afford a simple, basically moderately decent microphone. Come on, invest where it matters.
This is a 2-year-old video, so
I had this damn Blue Yeti microphone off the shelf that everybody has 2 years ago. That's not a problem.
yeah.
These things have settings for open rooms.
The casual misogyny, the use of bizarre homophobic stereotypes of queer-coded effeminate men.
Bizarre homophobic stereotypes. Which ones? Which animes? Tell us.
Give me a moment. I close the window.
The only example that's recent I can think of was Persona 5, and that was a joke to showcase, was it Yusuke? What was his name again? No, it wasn't Yusuke. It was Persona 5, the sidekick dude, was getting hit on by these moviegoer gay men, and they were outrageously homosexual, whatever you want to call that style of homosexual.
The guys in God Hand.
God Hand? Oh,
Have you played God?
it's been a while, but I know I've played God Hand. Yeah, but
This is these hyper flamboyant gays,
right, yeah,
and that's played for jokes. And
yeah,
did you know there are gays who are like that?
yeah. Look at JoJo.
They exist.
Bizarre
They
Adventure.
exist.
That is so crazy. I don't know whether they're gay or whatever. It's so crazy. It's just nuts. And you're like, I don't care if they're gay or not. It doesn't bother me that they could or couldn't be. But it's so over the top. You're like, this is amazing. I love this. Ryuji. Thank you. It was Ryuji from Persona 5.
Yeah, it works in JoJo because everyone is Fist of the North Star.
I know. Everyone screams and jumps around. It's great. Yeah. But they're culture appropriating Fist of the North Star. It's like, no, they're... Oh, God.
No, that's theirs. Oh wait, what's with all the anime that's playing in Europe?
But you know what?
Or European fantasy anime?
Yeah, but Fist of the North Star is inspired by two things: Sylvester Stallone and Kung Fu. What's his name? Bruce Lee. So
yeah, awesome.
They culture appropriated a Hong Kong movie star and an American movie star, and they made their own thing.
Look at Record of Lodoss War. That's
God.
If that's not Tolkien inspired, I don't know.
That is the most D&D anime I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are we going to blame Japan for being inspired by Western tabletop games and Tolkien, which everyone was inspired by Tolkien anyway?
Yeah. He wrapped and what did Tolkien do? He wrapped up our myths into a comprehensive story. And wrote his own fairy tale. He wrote his own fairy tale.
And even if Tolkien had homosexuals or whatever, like, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh yeah, he's just going crazy. He's doing the full gamut of ideas he wants to express. It's like, great, go for it. Who cares?
Yeah, if that had been in there, he'd probably done it well.
Yeah.
And with well, I don't mean pandering to these people.
Oh God, no.
But just realistic.
Can you imagine him writing bisexual or whatever kinds of different relationships back in the whatever he wrote Tolkien? But these are for his kids because that's why he wrote them. Like, he designed these books for his kids?
No, because he wouldn't write for... A father wouldn't write that for his kids.
No, he wouldn't. But if he had... Like, if that was what he wanted to do, like, everything. He wanted to do, like, crazy people, people of various ethnic backgrounds, like, all this bullshit, just because he could. These people would complain. Oh, look at this guy depicting Europeans in a medieval fantasy magical setting. Like, oh, this is... Who do you think the leaders are? The elves are clearly the superior race in the audience. It's like, oh my God.
In the fantasy role-playing groups I've been in, we've had a few extra rules for the worlds. We were usually world building our own shit. And we had a few couple rules. Number 1, halflings don't exist. Number 2, all elves are racist.
Yeah,
and it always led to basic fun, and usually that's the idea. Anyway, when you see high elves, they're usually high on themselves. There is the trope of the elves in the forest hating all outsiders because the outsiders fuck with the forests. So that's just a thing.
Oh, it's good.
Whether they have big empires or something else.
It wouldn't be racism. It would be like eco-terrorism or something. They'd call it some bullshit like that. Oh no, Tolkien hated the Mother Gaia or whatever. It's like, oh God, let's go through this again. Here,
you see the trope every time. Tolkien had it. Goblin Slayer has it. In a way, it's not as obvious, but it's there. But you have the group of adventurers is already together. But they have the prejudices, but they talk about it, but they seem to have already overcome it. It's kind of nice, but it's still there. It's in that world.
Here is Jake the Surgeon. Thank you, sir. I was promised a Renegade Cut video once a month. Get to the real autism I pay for. Friday is another day, sir. We've got a few more days left. We'll get to Friday eventually. So, yeah, we do one Maggie May and one Renegade Cut per month because we are only human and we need a break. So, anyway. Whew. Okay, 3 minutes in. We're doing okay.
There's just so many more interesting things to talk about.
I know. Believe me, we're going to have a fun weekend. Talking about all kinds of great stuff. Jake the Surgeon again. Until I get it, I will super check Kingdom Hearts quotes. What?
Oh, God.
Dude, wait till Friday. Save your money, okay? Just relax. Let's go.
And other minoritized communities, there is a well-recognized trend of the sexualization of underage characters.
Yikes.
Define underage.
I'll do an accusation here that Japanese culture is inherently more biased towards bigoted or creepy bullshit.
Okay, dude, really define underage. Underage in Japan means something different than here.
And what does he mean by biased? Biased towards sexualizing people? Like, it's art. It's supposed to be attractive.
Yeah, and it's. I can just. I don't know how to say it, because if I just say I know for a fact, it's not enough. The internet, everyone on the fucking internet, everyone who enjoys anime and has been pestered by these people knows that these people do not simply have a problem with loli type characters. They have a problem with every girl that has tits above a B cup. And that's that they call that sexualized and creepy. Although the girl is 16, which is realistic age for a C cup, or the character is 18, maybe just on a character sheet. But I'm not talking about 5,000-year-old ladies. I'm talking about completely normal girls. And that's what these people have problems with.
There's plenty of tropes in anime and manga to have these 1,000-year-old characters, creatures that are defeated turn into girls. And this is part of storytelling for manga. They want to see attractive, innocent, yet powerful girls, whether they look like they're 8 years old or they look like they're 17.
I find that a much more endearing power fantasy than the Mary Sue.
Oh God, yes. Like give me your lolis that are brilliant and genius, and sit there like a queen, and know that, and they're intimidating simply for being knowledgeable as opposed to being physically strong or whatever. Those are cool. I see nothing wrong with having fantastical elements in your story. Who cares if they have low-cut dresses or whatever kinds of tops on? Why does that bother you? What's the like? Who's being offended? Like, who are you attacking? Who's being offended by this?
I find it fascinating that these people are, on the one hand, really sexually obsessed, like the cartoon lady we had, and with sexuality and sexual orientation and all of that, and different sexual practices. They're obsessed with that, and at the very same time, they are hyper repressed about sexually attractive fictional characters.
Right. And we're talking about not only fiction, but drawn or animated fiction. There's a big change between if you did this in real life or in live action and you did this on cartoons.
Yeah, and I find it super important that this repression against sexually attractive characters is not aimed at the obviously underdeveloped characters, but sexually mature, developed characters. That is what I find absolutely baffling. They hate this. They hate the sexually mature attractive. It's so weird. And the only explanation I have found so far is jealousy. And when it's a guy doing it, simping, white knighting. Look, I'm a male feminist. I'm on your side. Please give me some pussy.
I'm not sure exactly what the case might be, why they do it, but it's all about their ideology. It's all about, oh, this is bad because other people say it's bad, as opposed to understanding what is this thing. I am so
pure. I am in the in-group. I am so pure. Please accept me. I want to be in the tribe. I don't want to be alone. Please don't throw the bricks and Molotov cocktails at me. I want to be in the mob, not outside the mob.
Yeah,
please.
I mean, you could say the same thing about even normal depictions of women who look like men or girls that look like boys. What's the one I really... Nisekoi. Nisekoi is a pretty famous or well-known romantic comedy anime. And there's a girl there who dresses like a boy, and everyone thinks she's a boy, and she's super strong and whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of all these silly things in anime, these tropes.
Yep.
But she's a total girl. She knows how to cook. She really likes the main character, which is another romance rival, which is what you do with romance stories. And she's always jumping between, do I protect my charge, who is this beautiful blonde girl, or do I give into my feelings and follow this guy who also has feelings for the beautiful blonde? Like this is what you do with conflict. And you would think they'd respect that because it's a female trying to be or looking like a girl or looking like a boy. But because they look like a boy, they're appropriating male, masculine traits. That's bad. It's like, wait, what? Why? What's wrong?
Tomboys are not allowed. If you espouse male behavior and male traits, you must transition into a man. That's what they're doing, really. It's like the old conservatives said that, oh, girl, you cannot play football. You cannot play in the mud and roughhouse with the boys. That's not seemly for a girl. Here, learn knitting.
Yeah.
and so they changed. They enforce a different behavior on the tomboy. Which is, but not as unhealthy as what these ideologues are doing, and who say, "Oh, girl, you are roughhousing with the boys and playing football. That means you are a boy. We must correct your body."
Message coming in.
Both of these, the old
Patching it through.
conservatives and the ideologues now, want a consistent stereotype of the sexes. But the conservatives, they see the foundation in the body, and everything needs to fit the body. And the ideologues see the foundation in the behavior. So the body needs to follow the behavior. And it's insane because they're essentially doing the exact same thing, just upside down. These people are the very people they hate.
All right, here's Jake the Surgeon. Put women in burqas. You know what? I've seen some clever photography of models. And you know how you have a photo shoot of a woman in a burqa and it slowly takes her clothes off? It's actually really good because you get this gorgeous woman completely covered up and she's slowly disrobing and it looks fantastic. I can't remember what they all got. I'm sure this has been a theme throughout the years. It's like, okay, we're going to put lots of clothing on you. We're going to slowly, seductively take clothes off. Not to nudity, but just in general. And it's amazing. I love it. Burqas are awesome. Keep doing it.
Depends. Always depends on how you use it.
Exactly.
But we better not talk about the age of consent in Islam.
Oh, well, no. We're obviously, these people are not of that culture, but I'm just saying, when people take an idea and run with it, they do some interesting stuff. Here's Jake.
This is the part that pisses me off about the ideologues. They have no consistency. Japan bad because girls have tits.
Yeah, girls.
Islam good despite underage. We better not mention that.
Girls dressing up as boys are bad. Boys dressing up as girls is also bad. Like, why? What's wrong with that? Anyway, Jake the Surgeon. Meanwhile, silence when Deku is giving a primal scream of victory, shirtless, showing he's more shredded than a Chinese man on an escalator. You know what? They very rarely look at the popular stuff, the popular anime. They take the weird stuff that they don't understand, like card games or magical girl anime or these genres which are very niche.
I don't know. What I've seen mainly on social media is that all they know is the most popular stuff that gets dubbed in the US. That's all they know. This guy is a special case who knows a few things more. But if you ask any of these people anything that came before what came before My Hero Academia, what came before Naruto, they don't know. They know nothing. They don't know any. They never heard of Neon Genesis Evangelion. They never heard of Leiden.
If they actually read manga, read light novels, watched anime, I bet their understanding would increase even on a surface level because there's so much to watch and read. Whether that
only know that they don't read. Ghost in the they only know Ghost in the Shell exists because there was a Hollywood movie about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
why they complained. That's why they complained that Scarlett Johansson plays an Asian character, despite being a very good lookalike for
I know
for Kusanagi Motoko.
That's
Japanese
really
loved her playing that.
I'm not bashing the original. The original is classic, but I actually enjoyed the live action. It wasn't stellar. It wasn't amazing, but the visuals were amazing.
The visuals were amazing. The props were amazing. I loved that. I had to ignore the writing because it was what I talked about. There's something about Ghost in the Shell that is a recurring thing. Like since the first movie, you have this in every fucking iteration that there are key scenes that always need to happen. It's a bit like the Spider-Man. Uncle Ben dies and says the words.
Yep.
Great power comes great responsibility.
It's
and Ghost in the Shell, in every iteration, you have Motoko destroying her arm by trying to open something.
Yeah.
That has to happen each time.
I like to
She
call
has
this.
to do the invisibility suit.
Yeah, I
each
know.
time.
It's kind of hard to describe how this works, but it's kind of like the greatest hits. It's like, what was the best
Yeah.
thing with Superman? Well, he's struggling against kryptonite. Let's do that again. Okay. He's flying up to the sun, get healed. Okay, let's do that again. Like all these classic shots. And that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but that with your examples, that's basic base mechanics.
Sure.
I know what you mean, but I think there's a slight difference with the examples.
With the example of the live action Ghost in the Shell, it's almost frame by frame. The shot itself, the scope, the wide angle,
Message coming in.
the zoom in.
Patching it through.
It's not as good though, but it's still pretty cool. Like it's still like, wow, they did that live action. For someone to figure that out, the prop department, the CGI department,
coming
the
in.
director.
Yeah, that's all.
Patching it
That's
through.
all wonderful. That's all
Yeah.
really, really wonderful. I love that part of it. But what I saw was what I saw in the cinema was, I know all the previous iterations of Ghost in the Shell, and I saw, okay, this scene is from that one, this scene is from that one, this scene is from that one. Like this is from what was it? First anime series. Standalone Complex. This is from Second Gig.
Yep.
This is from Arise, and it looked like all these things. The movies had their iconic scenes, and this movie, the live action movie, was like a long anime music video made by a fan that had all the cool scenes in it, but without music behind it, without the music video bit. The plot didn't add up for me, which is sad because this is otherwise a great movie, and I didn't like Kitano's performance as Aramaki.
I see.
He didn't fit the character. I like that he was playing in that movie. That's a great honor, but he didn't fit Aramaki. He's the one who wasn't a lookalike, aside from blackwashed Saito.
It was a hit and miss, but overall, for what they tried to do and what was accomplished, I thought, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I have my utmost respect for the special effects and prop departments in Hollywood and the big cinema, Japan as well. I just wish the writing would be on par.
Yeah, I know it's more of a
Because
spectacle.
it feels like all this amazing work. This is art. This is pure art. What these people do.
It's
what
the
these
same
designers
argument
do.
with Innocence, the movie Innocence. It's beautiful. It's a kaleidoscope of color and light. It's gorgeous. But the story is just, whoa, where is it? What happened to it? So, nothing I haven't seen before, but let's just keep going because we're going to ramble on about more interesting topics if we keep going. Roxazuzi, hey, just got off work. What type of cringe did I miss? Oh, you barely missed anything. It's Curio, and he's bashing anime because why not? Jake the Surgeon.
He hates himself.
18-year-old rocking her looks is MR bad. Not 16-year-old turning into Ben 10. Oh, Ben 10 in drag while getting giddy at the idea of her being gay is good. He raw is trash. Oh.
Okay.
American. It's okay when it's Americans do it, but it's not good when the Japanese do it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the chat. Kusanagi did not act. Johansson did not act like Kusanagi, but she was the correct lookalike, definitely. Ghost in the Shell stream.
No, back to anime in general. No specific.
If we admit the prevalence of those things, and that prevalence might normalize those elements and result in more of them being made, it's not like Western media isn't full of bigoted or creepy bullshit that we'd all rather do without. And it doesn't do to talk like fetishization of youth is unique to Japan and not just a feature of heteropatriarchy. Not to mention, these genres of anime have...
What the frickin' hell is he talking about?
I don't know.
The patriarchy?
I keep wondering, what is the kind of... What would the world, the actual manifest world that these people want to have, where there is, according to them, no bigotry? What does that look like? How do people act in that world? What are they doing? What is that? Because I can't imagine it. Because it's like the only option would be THX what was it? 1138. 1138. That first George Lucas movie. Like where everyone sits in his devoid of anything cell and no relationships, only state ordained procreation, and you get your masturbation machine so you don't offend anyone.
Yeah, you get the giant vial to inject into your arm so your humanity goes away.
Yeah, what is that? How does this world look that you people want? Because the only bigot I see is here in front of me on the screen.
White Western bases, two quite passionate fan bases at that. There was recently an outrage from Western fanboys because Funimation re-subtitled one of their properties and translated the word lolicon, that's a person who is attracted to underage characters, to pedophile. Clearly a biased and unfair decision based on social justice sources such as the dictionary. And how what?
Oh yeah, I'm sure the social justice people write the dictionary these days, and if they do, God help us. Oh my God.
They are, sadly. I think they're in Oxford and Merriam-Webster, and they are already rewriting definitions of certain words. I don't have an example right now, but it's the obvious choices. It's a slow process.
I
can't do too much at once because then too many people would rise up at once.
I just follow the Urban Dictionary. Whenever all these terms pop up, you're like, what the hell is that now?
God. That thing is also so useless. That thing, some terms, they have these dogpile action days on the Urban Dictionary, where social justice groups, for example, from a Discord server, go in. Someone writes a definition for social justice definition for a term, and then the 1,000 people on the Discord server upvote that, and then it's tweeted that the on Twitter to the followers to also upvote that, and that's how they then get complete redefinitions with perfect upvotes on Urban Dictionary. So that also that happens. It's everywhere. They are activists. And no one else does this. No one else fights for clear language, clear speech, while they go rampaging and redefine everything. Once they have done that, then we can't argue anymore, because then they say, "Oh, but it's the dictionary definition that I wrote, by the way." It's creepy, scary.
Luckily, the initial definition is like actual words aren't changed; they're just updated with additional additional meanings next to them. So you then have to say what meaning of the word are you referring to, because now there's so many.
Yeah, so. That's still the confusing phase. But later on, that's the final goal. Like it is 1984.
Yep.
Later on, they will start removing the definitions they don't like, so that people forget them.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen, just because of the digital age we're in and everything is stored.
Depends on how much power they get.
Oh, I can't see them controlling like online systems. They can, add to certain websites for sure, but we're not going to lose knowledge because they can't delete it all. I don't see that happening. I just see edits and additions, so not changes to existing data. But
I just say, if you have books, keep them.
Yeah.
Because the books you already have, they can't edit. They can only steal from you and burn on big piles.
Yeah, when they start burning books, then we know we've got some problems with people.
Let's work on the sexualization of specifically underage characters in anime. There's a hypersexualization of women in general, usually described with the term fan service. Real talk, I hate this term. I hate the idea that fans have these needs that have to be serviced. And I'd say
every fan is like that. Every single. Why else would you be a fan of something if you're not getting the thing you want?
Fucking shippers. And there are studios that, like Rooster Teeth, that pander to them because they have removed all creativity and the core of what they were producing in the first place to pander to an insane, sexually obsessed, tiny audience.
That is an extreme example of people who want certain things.
It is.
But when you're talking about genre, when you're talking about a series even, you expect, okay, the hero's going to do something. The hero, like Superman has to fly. He has to do his thing. If he doesn't do his thing, he's not. Why is he Superman? Why are we reading a Superman comic book? He has to do something which either will facilitate an outcome, and if it doesn't, he has to use his abilities to do that quickly or to achieve it at the last second. So he has to move really quickly or punch someone really far or whatever. So if he doesn't do that, then there's no point in writing a story about Superman. So same with anime. If you have a samurai dude and he doesn't use his sword, what's his goal?
Yeah.
Is he trying to kill someone? How does he kill himself? Does someone kill him for him? Does natural events like a rock slide or something? Like, you have to get that plot enacted. You can't just sit there and say my samurai will never draw his blade unless there's a darn good reason, and that's part of the plot. That's great. Then you have this complication to set something up. So that's what I want. Like, imagine Go-Go 13. He can't kill someone behind bulletproof glass. How does he get around that? Oh my God. He has to infiltrate the building. Maybe he has to use a nuclear or maybe some sort of missile or something, like some other weapon. Like, he's an assassin. His goal is to assassinate. So you have to show that. You have to have a story about assassination.
Patching it through.
If you don't, you're wasting everyone's time. So if a fan gets fan service, that's what they want. It doesn't matter if that fan service is sexual. It doesn't matter if it's a form of dialogue. I don't care. You got to give the audience what they need or what they want.
Yeah, and he's overemphasizing or even conflating that fan service is mainly sexual. There is a lot of it, but the term is just these latest Star Wars movies. They had a lot of things that could be considered fan service. Like Hawk mentioned in the chat, the appearance of Darth Maul in the Solo movie that nobody watched. That is to be classified as that.
Yep.
The Darth Vader scene in Rogue One. Impact, probably the most important scene in the movie. But it's essentially fan service.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's non-sexual fan service. You have that in a lot of other things too. There are some even official non-canon fan service manga, ecchi or hentai, made by the original artist, but they're not canon. And you know why the artist made that? A non-canon thing? Because the artist loves his work, or her work, and loves his or her fans. There's a relationship there. And it's not just, I give to you what you want because I want to make money. It's because we both love this thing I'm doing, and I'm very thankful for you to enjoy what I'm doing. And so here's a little present for you.
Yeah, I love the polls some artists do.
Not everyone buys it. Not everyone buys the fan service.
No. Like, I remember a lot of people get competitive, even with Nisekoi, but even Ichigo 100% was a manga that ended based off the voting of the popularity of what the fans wanted. Who would the main character end up with? And because of that voting was done early on, the creator said, okay, I'm going to make a story to follow that line of logic. And they did. And that was it. Because there's always, in all of these romance stories, like, who's he going to end up with? I don't know. We'll find out. So to involve the audience in that way, he didn't have to do that. But because he loves the product and everyone else does, the story, the characters, they put it into their story. So I don't see what's wrong with that. I really don't.
And I have a counter example if you've seen the movie Souls, this is another thing from the author that made these Twilight movies.
Okay.
Or books. And it was in a sneak peek. Oh god. And there was, so you have a female protagonist and several male love interests. And I, for the hell of it, couldn't tell them apart because they all looked like the exact same chiseled male super Adonis types. Same body type, super muscular without it being overdone. It's just very, very well worked out. And I have a problem telling people apart as part of the autism thing. And they all look the same to me. I think one was blonde, but that wasn't enough for me because I for the hell of it, I couldn't tell these guys apart. And I thought there were two of them. But near the end of the movie, there is this scene where she's in a room or enters and all the three guys are in the, I don't know, in a shower or working out or something. And she comes in and the shot is just made for women to ogle at because she comes in and these three guys naked up her body. So you see all the muscles and everything. And that's the moment I noticed, wait, that's three guys? Not just two? Because the characters were also interchangeable. The relevant part here is those guys were made for girls to fawn over. That's okay. And that shot was made to show them all at once so that female audience could get wet and enjoy that. The female gaze, if you want to call it that. Fine. That is sort of fan service within the movie itself, if you will.
Yeah.
Because that's not advertised in a trailer.
You see,
I thought, okay, this doesn't speak to me, but I know why they do it, and the girls enjoy it because it's a movie made for girls. So
the audience, not just the audience, but the writers, the publishers, they know how their audience works, and they know the reaction. If they do X, this will happen, and they'll react that way. So there's usually a bit of pressure from the publisher. Oh, I wish you could make this so that our audience would go ooh like that. There's all these sort of techniques to get the right outcome. And the artist is always trying to surprise, do something new, do something unexpected, which is fine, but you still got to give the audience the reason why they're here. So a lot of these manga stories that don't follow or don't have a light novel, you don't know what to expect. So, which is hard, but they're free to do whatever they like. So it really depends on what you're getting, because as soon as you have a light novel, you know what you're getting. You know what's coming. It's kind of like reading the book before the movie comes out. But sometimes the movie adaptation is also different. You're like, wait a second, that's not what George R.R. wrote. That's not right. So people get pissed off with that a lot because they thought they knew a secret that was coming, but it didn't. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad. Usually it's bad because you're changing the tone, you're changing the character, you're changing the set, you're changing all these things. So
yeah, that's why when I hear of something popular that I didn't know before, but there's now a series being made about it, like it was the case with Game of Thrones. And I decided, okay, they're making the series now. They will divert from the books eventually. And if I know the books, I will be pissed about differences in the series.
Yes,
so I will sit it out and watch the series so I can enjoy it. Because if I read the book, I will only be pissed at the series. Which is why I will be very pissed at the Wheel of Time series that I am making. And I will never watch it because I will just scream for months.
You see, this is a great conversation to have with Dunn, just because Dunn loves the Wheel of Time series and he knows it so well. But because I think he's such a fanboy.
I mean the Netflix adaptation.
Well, that's
making a Netflix adaptation.
Yeah, I know.
I love the books.
The books are great. Yeah, the books are crazy, but it's like taking Tolkien and making 3 movies out of it. It's very hard to do. So you have to.
Yeah, and they can't do it because they don't even have the intention to. They just look for the next franchise to push their crap in, their political fetishism in. And they don't care about the actual thing. God, I hate. But why can't I remember names? Peter Jackson, who made the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
He wanted to make Lord of the Rings movies because he wanted to make Lord of the Rings movies.
And he needed that time and money and budget and all the resources to. I think he did a good job. It wasn't a great
These
job.
ideologues, they wouldn't want to make a Lord of the Rings movie.
No,
They wouldn't want to make Lord of the Rings movies. They wouldn't want to make Wheel of Time movies. They want to make something that they can inject their political fetishes in.
There's a difference between being a fanboy to create something and being a fanfic writer to create something. And I saw that with Mass Effect Andromeda. I saw that with the last season. Well, I didn't see the last season of Game of Thrones, but that's when they ran out of content anyway, so they were just winging it. It's sad to see that people with power or literary authority to write the next scene or the next chapter of a franchise like Star Wars and just absolutely forget what the hell they're trying to do while claiming to be the fans is sad. So
yeah, that's their narcissism. In their world, they are the fans, of course.
Of course they are. Everyone loves Star Wars. I'm a fan. You're a fan. We all love Star Wars. I'm going to do it justice with crazy creative concepts no one's seen before and techniques that you might.
I'll make it better. Like these aliens in Invader Sim that are collecting other aliens and then fusing them, making hybrids out of them by duct taping them together.
Here is Roxazuzi. I just started watching, and he is already on the SJW stuff. Lolicon is not equal to, in real life, kid stuff. Gonna need a lot of beer and whiskey for this insanity. Yeah, I know. It's just ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with appreciating cute characters that happen to be depicted as children. There's nothing wrong with that. It's art.
I know the problem with the problem, very problematic. With Japanese is they are very delicate people. They're girls. Yeah, they have girls with big tits. They have them, and very very blessed girls. However, most of them don't. Most of them stay rather flat, and whether they are 16 or 18 or 21, many of them still look like 11. That may just be where this whole thing is coming from.
Oh yeah, no, this is common not only for Japanese but Chinese girls as well. I've met my share, and honestly, I've met some women who were 60. They look like they were 30, just because for whatever reason, like they just look young, and you don't. And until they hit like 94, then it's like okay, now they look old. But it's like you can't tell. It's like, how old are you? Like, I know it's not a very nice thing to ask, but you look so young. And I don't know if it's the diet or the discipline, but they look really healthy. So I don't know what it is, but bless them because they're amazing. And
just today I saw an interview with Ayan Hirsi Ali. She's now in her 50s, and it's just, I'm old now. Oh, they looked at what?
Really?
Because she's the type who looks like 30. I was like,
yeah.
You're not old. If I'm that old and I look like that, I'll be a very happy person.
It's got to be all the rice, man. All that good grains, all those healthy, wonderful carbs. I don't know. We got to switch our diet around. All right, Jake the Surgeon.
I get drunk from carbs.
Weird. I'm Italian. That's all we eat is carbs. Just constant pasta. Just pasta and just veal and carrots and celery. That's it. That's all we eat.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I just want my red onions and I'm happy.
Red onions. Yeah, that's a good idea. Onions are great. Red onions are good too. Okay, Jake the Surgeon. Japan has a serious problem of making powerful women sexy. They should look like botched Snoke clone. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like the new She-Hulk.
Oh no.
It looks like a villain. It looks like a classic villain monster thing.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
Japanese, or rather anime, have gorgeous depictions of women, cute depictions of women, all kinds of depictions of women. It's great. It's fantastic. Joe Crazy. it's the opposite with Ruby. Somehow the fan fiction has better writing. Okay, but that's because Ruby is crap. So
Yeah, but that's since the original creator died, and Rooster Teeth thought, fuck it, we'll just do what the shipper fangirls want.
oh,
So yeah, it's so the series is just bad fan fiction with SJW politics injected into it, and then you have some original fans of the original stuff that was made, and they're writing in the spirit of that. So their fan fiction makes sense, and sometimes is even good. Because they write for the core of the thing and not for, this character should have a relationship with that character and it should be gay, bisexual, trans. Oh, so awesome. So that's crap. That's just fetish crap.
People should be able to make their art without having to capitulate to horny weirdos. Even if the horny weirdos...
yeah, but we are horny weirdos. That's what people are.
Projection. What do you say?
Why can't they make their art without being horny weirdos? It's like, what is his idea of being horny weirdo, first off? Because we're talking about Curio here, so I don't know what his standards are.
One only tiny minority of their audience. And to that, you might say, hey, fan service is a reliable way to get some people to come back and watch your show, and the only situation in which an artist wouldn't have to think about what the audience wants or expects is if they didn't have to think about profits at all, to which I'd say, now you're speaking my language, comrade. Next, right.
Okay, so capitalism bad because God forbid they make money off
As
the
I said before, some artists just enjoy making what they make. And sometimes that is sexual content. And you don't need to... You can also just be delighted by the beauty. And I do not think these people know the difference between sexual indulgence, arousal, and simple delight. Delight is a wonderful emotion. It's sitting on a park bench over in front of a lake with a little bit of fog over it, morning fog, and the sun comes up. That is a delightful moment. Nothing sexual about it. And there is manga, anime, that captures this feeling. And it doesn't even matter whether you have a sexual scene or not. There are you can make when you're very, very competent, you can make a sexual scene that is so tasteful that you don't get a hard on, but a warm, fuzzy feeling that reminds you of a very special love. But I don't think these people can, these SJWs at large, can even feel that. I think they only can feel sexual stuff.
Here is...
That's why I see it everywhere.
Tyler Preston, thanks for the donation. This is some moral guardian bullshit that BBC and the Australian government pulled a while ago with anime. Oh, anyway.
Yes, they tried to ban it all.
That's crazy. Anyway, I'm reading the comments, and one of them called Saint Seiya misogynistic? Thanks. Thinks Super Alloy Darkshine is a black man, male gaze, etc., etc. Yeah, no, these guys are nuts. They'll just say, oh, anime did this with the black character, therefore they're racist or some bullshit. It's like, no. That's the color palette. That's what they used back in the 80s. If we're talking about Saint Seiya, that's a really old anime. But Darkshine was a white dude or an Asian dude. And he just got buffed. Yeah, he got really, really buff. I don't even know how he got dark. I can't remember, but yeah, he originally was a white guy.
I don't either. Yeah, but this is here. As Tyler just described. This is what I said before. They have the exact same mindset as the Christian Puritans from a couple decades ago, who saw Satanism in everywhere in Dungeons and Dragons. Because there's magic, and in Harry Potter, that's Satanism, that's turning our children to the devil. Oh my god! And these people, Same thing, just not with Satanism. They see racism everywhere. And heteronormativity, it's everywhere. It's in Harry Potter. It's in
Message
Dungeons
coming
and
in.
Dragons. It's an anime.
Patching it
It
through.
corrupts our children. So we have to counter-corrupt them. And they are open with saying that. They do openly say that they want to brainwash the children. I don't think they say brainwash directly, but they say they want to educate them.
Here
And
is
it's the same mindset. They're the same people as the Christian Puritans.
here's Roxas Uzi. Thanks again. Even if we're weirdos, so what? Who cares what? We're still human. Him saying that isn't an argument. It's nothing more than hand waving it away. This is what I don't grasp. Like, if you're making porn, then yes, that's your audience. You expect certain things out of your pornography. Fine. There's subgenres. You expect it. If you have a magical girl anime, you expect magical girls. It doesn't matter if they're somewhat more attractive. There's some magical girls that are more attractive than other magical girls. It's not a big deal. That's just That's just how we think of people. Some are going to be more attractive than others. And one might be taller, one might be shorter. Who knows? You're going to like one better than the other for whatever reason. So you're expecting certain elements in every instance of that genre. It's natural. So to showcase attractive people of various ages is, again, natural. It's normal. And if they want to make an anime like Boogie Pop Phantom or any horror anime where there's all this gore or there's horror elements, it's going to make you uncomfortable. You think, oh, that's triggering. Oh, you're appropriating the Saw series. Who do you think you are? It's like, that's the point. That's exactly why they did it. And to call it this or that is stupid because they know exactly what they're doing, or else it would not have been made. Anime comes from manga, which comes from light novels. It's a very calculated process what gets put on the screen. And sometimes some publishers don't know that, or they skip a few steps, or they take a gamble on some anime. It only lasts a few episodes. They go, oh, that wasn't very good. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. So,
And I will never figure out why Dragon Half wasn't continued. That just has 1.5 episodes. It's very sad.
I'm still curious how Excel Saga was made. Like, that
Excel
is,
Saga?
it's so ridiculous.
It's gorgeous. I think it's. What was there any kind of anime with that type of humor before? Because I think it defined that.
It is. You're talking about fourth wall breaking, transforming here. Like, everything's over like crazy. Like, you can't.
I think it was beyond fourth wall breaking.
Oh yeah.
It was Deadpool. It was beyond Deadpool.
Oh no, this is like, if you guys want the craziest, weirdest, funniest, silliest anime ever, just watch Excel Saga.
If only just watch the first episode and you will know whether you like it or not.
Yes.
I will give one spoiler about the show. That is what it does in general. And that is, it's trying to figure out what kind of anime it wants to be. Yeah. And therefore, every episode tries to be a different genre, but still with all the same characters. But at the same time, there's a developing meta plot in the background. There's a developing plot in the background. But every episode, it's a different genre, and they're completely different places. And poor Pedro.
So think of this way: when we have pandering, when we have fan fiction or whatever, we're giving to a certain audience. And I'm sure Curio has a favorite anime or a favorite show, cartoon, whatever. And if that's the case, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with you liking one thing for your reasons and someone else liking another thing for their reasons? Like, he's criticizing a genre, say magical girl or whatever, because it has magical girls in them and they're underage and they could be sexualized. You're like, so what? Who is this hurting? Who's in trouble?
There's also the thing with these SJWs that are about this. Oh, the male gaze, or sexualization, and so on. At the same time, they are the ones drawing porn themselves. Yeah, there's an art university here in town, and I've met my fair share of these people.
Yeah.
Especially with the personality disorders. They're all on the feminist train and the SJW train. They're fully on it. And at the same time, they draw their own porn, whether it is a manga style, whether it is something else they copied. There was this, I don't know what it's called. It's like these novel. It looks like novelty cards. It looks very, very nice. There's one artist who makes it, and I just forgot the name. A lot of these SJWs have the subset of them have started to just copy that style and make very sexy characters with that. Some of these have talent; they're just not creative, but they have talent in drawing, which is a very odd, I always found a very odd combination. So they can't make stuff of their own, but they're good at copying other things. They can have good technique. But the relevant part is they go on about, that is sexualizing, that is exploitative of women, that's objectifying. At the same time, they draw porn in the same vein and also walk around in the most slutty of outfits trying to get attention from men. But also at the same time complain when it's the wrong man looking at them. It's just that is lots of this is especially one person I know, which is the epitome of all of this, and that is a real case of borderline personality disorder. It's just I've known this person for years, and it's just always baffled me until I've started to learn about this.
Yeah, I know. I just don't want to poison the well to bring that up again, because it's
I don't want to put this on him because I don't know anything about him. And here, he looks rather stable so far. So
in this video,
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know if you saw our chat, but Zach was posting images. I'm like, oh, Zach, please don't do that. So,
that skit was scary enough.
Yeah, we're good. He looks normal. I'm happy to watch him here. So that's good.
So this wasn't to put anything on him. It's just something I've seen in the subculture, because SJWism, this ideology, this cult, it's a subculture effectively, and it makes people behave all the same or draws people in who behave all the same. And it's the most hypocritical thing I've seen since the Catholic Church preaching compassion and then being too compassionate to their choir boys.
Influence. For a long time, anime online was co-opted by the absolute worst conceivable people.
Wait a second. Are you joking? Is he joking now?
These people don't understand jokes. They understand condescending insults. That's what they find funny. The only humor most of these people have is sadism about the other, about the outsiders. They do not understand actual humor.
He can't be serious. He does not honestly believe that Nazis have appropriated anime or some bullshit.
Yes, he does. He does believe that. He does believe that. If there's a swastika on it, it's evil Nazis have it now. It's this is something I wanted to make a video about 5 years ago. It's what I call the Nazi cooties, because it works exactly like the cooties game. German children play that game too. In Germany, we just don't have a name for it, but the children play it anyway. They come up with it anyway. If for some reason you're not familiar with the cooties game, it's the children declare something has it now. It is the disease or whatever. And if you touch it, or if someone who has it touches you, you have it too now. Or it went over to you, but usually it's just you have it too now. So if the kid touches, if the kid who has it touches a pen, then the pen has it now. And that can then be used as a trap, because then an unsuspecting kid comes along and takes the pen and uses it, and then the others say, now you have it too. And that's exactly like this Nazi, like the Nazi cooties work. Like the OK sign became a Nazi symbol for some odd 4chan prank. Because these people see, this was touched by a Nazi once, so we can't do that anymore because then we are Nazis. Like they instantly hand over everything to the Nazis, even if it's just alleged, even if it's just a phantom. By that same logic, these people could not be allowed to use bicycle lanes because those were invented by the Nazis. They couldn't use natural reserves, at least not in Germany, because they were founded by the Nazis. Because aside from the war, that was very bad for the environment, the Nazis were very ecological. We call them eco-fascists for a reason. And the Green Party here in Germany now are basically eco-fascists.
Okay, that's a bit ridiculous. But okay, let's just imagine.
It's a game.
Let's just imagine this is true. Let's say there's some Nazis out there and they're drawing stuff in the anime or manga style. I'm like, you know what, Nazis, good for you. You have good taste. Okay, you like cute girls. You like the big eyes. Fantastic. Good for you. I'm gonna go watch Hellsing Ultimate, where a bunch of vampire Nazis get the shit kicked out of them, because that's cool. Okay, like there's something for everyone in anime. I really don't care if the guy who likes the same thing I do is a Nazi. Doesn't bother me, because all I care about is the thing I like, and it just happens to be the same. Hey, wow, I like strong male and female characters. So does he.
And some people just like the uniforms. They have especially girl uniform fetish, and they don't care from what country it is. And well, it just so happened that the Nazis, sadly, in that area did have taste and got their uniforms from Hugo Boss.
There you go.
So you must never, ever buy anything from Hugo Boss, because Hugo Boss has the Nazi cooties, you know?
Oh, no.
And your Volkswagen car also has the Nazi cooties, because Volkswagen was founded by the Nazis. They just don't talk about that at the anniversary. It was very fun. What was that? 75th anniversary of Volkswagen? And everybody there, awesome. But they don't talk about the founding story of Volkswagen. That's just somehow never the topic.
One of the interesting things we talk about government making stuff, that usually it sucks. Usually when the government is asked to make a product that the masses will use. There was a car, I think it was in America, called the Trabant.
Trabant.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was a horrible car. Like, no one wanted it. You had to shake the car.
Everybody wanted it. Are you kidding me? Everybody wanted it because it's the only one you could get.
Oh, well, okay.
You get that or you don't have a car.
This is true at the time, but after the fact,
you had to wait about 2 years to get one.
Yeah, it was poorly produced. It took so long to make. It was a pile of crap, but that's all that was. Now, with the Volkswagen,
I'm sorry. We managed to drive with that thing from the outskirts of Berlin, the state around Berlin, to southern Tyrol in Italy. And back several times. The thing holds. I don't know how it does that, but it does.
Now the Volkswagen.
Yes, it's not a fun car.
No. There's a crazy documentary about it I watched. It was so funny.
Please send it to me.
Oh my god, black and white.
I know.
Oh my god.
It's just wonderful. The things are just made of cheap plastic and sawdust. This is amazing. It's just so that the last guy at the end of the assembly line, when a part doesn't fit properly, like the trunk, the edge of the trunk, like that's a skew or something, then the big guy at the end of the assembly line stands in front. Then he just grabs it with his hands and manipulates it and squeezes it around until it has the right shape, and then it fits. Wonderful process how you make cars.
All right, well, we'll keep rambling on about the government later, but let's hear his take on right-wing Nazis and anime. I don't know where he's going with this, but okay.
Meme posting trends has been a mainstay of parts of the internet, like 4chan, the famous hive of far-right memeing, deliberate brutalization practices.
Since when did that happen? Since when did that happen? 4chan is the same place that a lot of radical left-wing stuff happens because it's anonymous, and where the likewise named anonymous movement originally came from that fought Scientology, There's as much left-wing stuff on 4chan as right-wing stuff. You just don't have humor. You humorless excuses of you're pseudo. Oh, okay. You're pseudo conservatives or crypto conservatives. These people are not progressive as they claim they are. They don't want to move into a better future. They just want to move to their weird utopia, just like evangelical Christians want to move to their evangelical Christian utopia. It's not. They don't want to better the world by accepting reality as it is and working with that. They live in a fantasy world.
Okay, so why he's showing shots of Frostpunk? I think this is Frostpunk at least.
Because he wants to make. I think he just wants to make a metaphor for do a nice thing or do a bad thing.
Message coming in. Patching it
Do a virtuous thing or do an authoritarian thing, while not even realizing himself how authoritarian he is.
Here's Roxas Uzi again. I vote we make something to get rid of all the non-weebs in the world. A world for weebs and weebs only sounds like a paradise. I don't think it's weebs you have to be concerned of. It's people like this who I don't know what he is. Does he like anime? Does he not like anime? Does he not like certain kinds of... Everyone has certain things they like in certain genres in media. So I don't see what the problem is, but apparently when a Nazi appropriates anime and draws pictures and they have a website called 4chan and they go on there and they post to their friends and have fun or whatever, that's bad. Can't do that.
Oh, here's a picture of a funny frog character. You Nazi!
Yeah, here's a picture of a cute anime girl wearing an imperial-looking, I don't know, combat gear.
Yeah.
Oh, horrible.
Pepe has the cooties. Anime girls have the cooties. If anime girls wear Nazi uniforms, is that cultural appropriation?
I don't think so. It's just a style, just a style of drawing. Yeah.
I mean, how dare non-Germans wear Nazi uniforms?
Oh my God! The German military who aren't Nazis are wearing uniforms for the German military. They must be Nazis. Like, no.
You know what? Fuck it. It's a video about anime. We're just gonna...
For a time, if you were an outsider to anime, your whole experience of it might have been seeing memes of uncomfortably sexualized, very young-looking girls saying stuff like, "Ooh, the Holocaust never happened, don't believe the Zionist lies." It isn't still the case.
Okay, I don't know what the hell
that
he's
is
talking
not
about.
the standard anime meme that anyone sees. I don't know where you... or which weird corners of the internet you cruise around. I don't.
The ones that I see?
Yeah, you have to look for these places.
The ones that I see usually have the girl from Gamergate, and she's got that look on her face like, oh, not this shit again. You know? That's the ones I see a lot of. But other than that, it's artists showing off their really gorgeous drawings. So,
yeah, generally, it's like it's a little less hard to find than actual pedo content, but you have to actively look for it. You don't just stumble across this as some person who doesn't have any contact with anime stuff. A random person doesn't see the memes. Most people out there, they don't know what memes are. I know this is a very weird concept, but they don't know what memes are and what the funny pictures are. They know funny cat pictures, but they don't know anime memes or Pepe memes or any of the Chad Virgin thing memes or Wojak. They don't know these things. They know funny cat pictures.
So even
normal
then,
people are.
this could be a topic about anything, and he'll just talk about memes and this is the common meme for this. Like, yeah, who cares? That's not not relevant.
Most people know in the West know anime from the dubbed stuff their kids watched on TV.
Yeah,
they have seen a few scenes from Naruto, they have seen a few scenes from Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Digimon, and that's it. One Piece, and that's it. All the big ones.
The anime community is completely dominated by white guys who want to debate one very specific free speech issue. But there's certainly still a community bias that way, and Nazis certainly never stop posting anime waifu memes and ideas.
Yeah, because you know exactly where the Nazis are, who the Nazis are, and what they do with their time. Dude, how do you know this? Do you like...
Maybe he's been one of them?
Yeah, are you like in a community of Nazis? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know where he knows these things from.
Where's the Nazi part of the internet? Curio, do you know? Because if you do, can you tell the FBI that?
Yeah.
They'd love to know. I think many people would like to know. I've never encountered the Nazi part of 4chan or this or that. Because
I think your local Antifa group would be very happy to know where they need to go.
It's 4chan. You're anonymous for a reason on 4chan. That's the point. It's a bunch of people having fun anonymously, which is kind of what Twitter is at times, because most people don't give a shit. They just post whatever they like. They argue and say whatever they like, however they like. So I feel like he's attacking this boogeyman. He's like, dude, it doesn't exist. It's not there.
What was the one free speech issue everybody they're always talking about? What did he mean by that?
I don't know. He showed a quote about if rappers can say it, why can't I? Which I'm guessing is the N-word, because rappers, they swear when they rap or whatever.
Yeah, and that is also a straw man, because the people who advocate for free speech are not about, I want to say this word too. They have a problem with censorship in general. The free speech issue that free speech advocates have is free speech. They want free speech. And you're not a liberal, Curio. You're not a liberal. You're an authoritarian, because you are against free speech. You want to censor people. And it's not just about the N-word. It's about everything.
Isn't that interesting?
You want to tell people what they are allowed to enjoy.
I think
that is harmless to others.
I think
your problem isn't with pedos. Your problem is with everyone who enjoys something that you don't like.
Yeah, this is the whole what it comes down to. You either for free speech or you're not. Here we are sitting listening to a guy bashing on capitalism, bashing on anime. He thinks anime is cursed, and we're like, yeah, so what are you going to do? Nothing. Exactly. We don't care because you have no authority. You're not the anime guru. You're not the grandfather of anime. You didn't influence anyone. You're just a guy with a dumb opinion. And we're going, yeah, you have that freedom.
Message coming in.
And we have the freedom to listen to him and make fun of him because it's ridiculous. Because if you accept free speech, you accept every opposing viewpoint you dislike as viable. Yes, you're allowed to say that. We think you're crazy, but that's what makes it beautiful. And that's why Curio is such a beautiful person. As crazy as he is, he can say crazy shit that's against free speech. And we're happy he's allowed to say it, but we're also happy he's not going to change anything. Because if he does, then we're going to have some problems.
That's the main difference between, and I guess I have to speak tribalist here. It's the difference between us and them. We are fine with them speaking their mind and bringing up their crazy ideas in the hopes that we can reason with them. We can have a discussion. We can exchange our ideas with each other and mutually find the flaws in each so that both of us can improve. People like Curio, don't want us to have other thoughts and ideas than he does. That's the difference. We are fine with people having other thoughts, other feelings even. He isn't.
Yeah,
he's the authoritarian. Curio, have you ever asked yourself whether you might be on the side of the evil guy?
Maybe. What's that funny? That English comedy guy. Are we the baddies? they're dressed up as SS officers.
Yeah, we have skulls here on our uniforms and all. Are we the bad guys?
Oh boy. Oh dear. Roxazuzi, what's happening, man? I'm already 10 shots in on whiskey. 10 shots.
Okay, I'm gonna join you.
That's 10
Maybe
ounces.
I'll talk less then.
That's way too much, buddy. You gotta slow down, or just stop. Just actually, you know what? Stop, because you're gonna be dead in about 20 minutes if you keep going. You don't shoot the whiskey, okay? You sip it.
That is true, but I can't let him suffer alone. I need to
Okay.
keep something left in this bottle, or I'll have nothing anymore for the rest of the month.
I'm already nicely lubricated. Got some, what is it? Some UK ale, some amber ale called Bomber from Lancaster. Fantastic. Good stuff.
Yeah. Here's to Roxy Susie with 1.5 fingers of a very inoffensive Jameson. Inoffensive is important as we are talking with someone who's offended at everything.
The Irish. Oh, Irish obviously appropriated grains from Scotland to make. The funny thing about Irish whiskey, they actually use malted and unmalted barley to get around the taxes of paying for malted barley. Because if it was unmalted barley, they didn't pay taxes. That's why they made it. They made whiskey their way.
Oh, interesting. I thought I never looked into the history. I never knew who started the whiskey thing, whether it was the Irish or the Scottish.
I think it was the Scottish, but the funny thing about Irish whiskey as well is that they nearly went extinct in the 60s, I think.
The Irish or the Irish whiskeys?
The Irish whiskeys, yeah, the distillers. So they had to band together to survive and keep making this one from this one distiller, and then they finally had enough money to branch out again.
No.
So everything has its place, and I think Middleton distiller, everything comes from there as a base, and then they have Jameson. That's why Jameson, Powers, and what's the other one? There's 3 big names in Irish whiskey, but doesn't matter. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I can tell you that there are what I found surprising is that when I learned that there's whiskeys popping up all over the world. There's a very old distillery in Bavaria, founded by Irish monks or Scottish monks. I keep forgetting. That's a really old one. Forgot the name. I can look it up later. And there's a fairly new one founded in the 90s in the Harz in Thüringen, middle of Germany. I got to taste two of theirs, and this is quite good stuff. Bit expensive, but it's fairly young. They don't have they don't make a lot in barrels, but it's probably why the prices are a bit higher yet still. But good taste.
I just remembered something because someone mentioned FLCL in the chat. If you look at the Fulikli, yeah. If you look at Vosh's logo or Vosh's icon or whatever you want to call, he appropriated the actual character from FLCL and just used it. He just stole it.
Yes. He put his and put his cartoon face on the screen.
On the TV screen, yeah.
Conti?
I don't remember the name of it. Yeah. I don't remember the name. But that's
who is at the same time the pirate king who steals planets. Which is probably a power fantasy from Vosh.
So there you go. There we have a bread tuber appropriating Japanese anime and doing whatever he wants with it.
Oh, you know what the space pirates in Furikuri also do? They use giant, absolutely monumentally sized irons to flatten the planets, to make them all the same, all equal.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. I can't stay around for too long. I got a meeting at 8, so I don't know how long we can go.
Oh, okay.
But another hour at least. So let's try and keep going.
We'll get a minute.
Sorry?
We'll get a minute
done. Realizing as this SJW-free pure space, which brings us nicely onto the next compounding factor: Japanese conservatism. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, currently serving his 4th term as Prime Minister, is a far-right nationalist. And Japan's political...
No. He's just
better
conservative.
than Merkel. Better than Merkel.
You know, he's far right because I don't know. He just is because he said so.
He's far right because Japan doesn't want to let other cultures infiltrate and subvert them, which is actually a good decision because it's one of the few ones left that doesn't yield to this that is westernized in some form. That doesn't just yield to the stuff. The Japanese are very suspicious of their socialists.
I just find this categorization of people from different countries that happen to be different than the ideology you are now extremists.
It's also interesting that he found this very emotional picture of Shinzo Abe because, like most Japanese politicians, it's very hard to find an emotional picture of him.
Yeah, we think the British have stiff upper lips. The Japanese are machines.
Why do you think the Nazis liked them so much?
Very, very organized, very logical.
Yeah, both had a weird sense of OCD and wanted to build weird shit.
Yeah.
History does include a long-standing empire, an alliance with the Nazis in World War II, horrifying war crimes.
What a oh, give me a break. They aligned with the Nazis. They must be horrible. You know who else aligned with the Nazis? The Italians. The Italians and the Japanese are so different. It's like, what?
Message coming in.
Where is he going?
And war crimes. Dude, war crimes. Yeah. What the Japanese did wasn't really something you want to talk about because it's there are horror movies that are less horrible.
But that is one.
But this is a whataboutery game. This is just a whataboutery game because this is true of fucking everyone. What the Chinese did to other people, what they do to people today. Those are the communists you like so much.
No, let's not. Let us not get into politics. Talking about the horrors of war.
Yeah, it's this whataboutery. This is so fucking horrible. So always one-sided.
Humanity does horrible things to itself. We know.
When it's their enemies, it's bad. When it's their allies or allies in spirit, that's not. We don't talk. We don't mention. Everybody makes mistakes, right?
Rox is Uzi. It's either I die to cringe or whiskey, Smud. Just balance it out, okay? Don't die to either, okay?
Crimes more. The last factor to consider is that anime is somewhat of a pulp format. There exists a mainstream in publishing, and outside of that, a huge variety of relatively independent, relatively low scrutiny works.
No, that's called manga.
The same for all media.
The pulpy anime?
Patching it through.
There might be.
I don't really know what he means with that term, but the description of lots of low-level stuff being the mass of the media, that's true for everything. Seriously. Garage metal. Music. People who draw whatever, write whatever.
This comment is so silly. Like you're talking about the biggest print format for drawn artwork in the world, has genres of everything you can imagine, tropes of things you've never thought of before in every genre. And to hint, it's kind of pulpy. It's like, dude, do you understand what you're talking about? It's kind of pulpy. It comes from manga, which comes from light novels, which could come from webcomics, or could be inspired by, or create webcomics, or could create visual novels like video games. And that, like, it's all interconnected. This massive media exchange of influence and artistry. Pulp is like...
US comics would be happy if it was like that over there.
It's... This is like me ordering a steak dinner and going, it's got a little bit of protein in it. You're like, what? Yeah, it's a steak. What's your point? I don't know what Jay-Z Denton is trying to tell me, but sessismo. Okay. Sessimo. All right.
In a situation with scrutiny, there is room for people to really push the boundaries of the format and experiment with new things inside the medium. And there's also room for, well, frankly, lots of awful garbage. I think there's very little value.
Yeah,
Like all media.
like everything else. Like literally everything. A car, a book, like any entertainment format, any food product. Yes, you're right, dude. 90% of everything sucks.
In saying like Japanese media is usually bigoted, rather than saying this piece of media has these problems or this is how bigotry creeps into media and causes problems. It's unhelpful and divisive to say Japanese as if Japan is the problem.
Oh, don't you talk to me about divisiveness. Don't you talk to me about divisiveness. The people who play divide and conquer with absolutely everything, who hate absolutely everything, that's you people. You. People like you. You draw lines between everything and say, you must stay in this lane with your cultural stuff. You must stay in this lane with your cultural stuff. You are not allowed to draw boobs. You are not allowed to have this skin color. You are divisive.
Did this guy just call Japan bigots?
Yes, everyone who's not an SJW is a bigot in their eyes. These are the most bigoted people on the fucking planet.
Did he mean people who make anime are bigots, or Japan as a culture?
He meant the medium, the genre, the style that is this whole
Message coming in.
the whole culture
Patch it
that is anime and that surrounds it.
I don't get
Everything
it.
attached to that.
Okay, this guy, here's from Rock Suzuki, thanks again. This guy clearly has no idea about anime manga culture and is just pulling stuff out of his smoothed brain. You're 12 shots in. This is really bad. Like, this is the worst part. Like, making these big statements. I'm like, dude, you may as well have just said black people are horrible because they're black or something. Like, you may as well just have said that.
Oh, they say something like that, but inverted. No, not inverted is the wrong word. Because when they say, oh, Nazis think that black people can't do anything. Well, we give them all this stuff because they're so oppressed, because they can't help themselves. So we help them because, and that's how they, around the corner say the same thing as the Nazis. Black people are incompetent and can't do anything and are lazy and because they need our help. So it's the difference between the red socialists and the brown socialists, as they depict them, is that the brown socialists say these people are scum and we don't give a shit about them. We'd be better off if they were gone. The red socialists, like him, say these people are scum and worthless and can't do anything. That's why we need to give them crutches and help them up and hold them up above us. But they think the same thing about the other people. They just go differently about it.
I wish I could hear him more clearly. I wish I could get the transcript, like the commentary, just so I could read what he said, because this is not cool. I don't know what it is, but something about what he's trying to get at is just disgusting to me.
Yes, this is actual racism.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
He's an actual racist.
Yeah, I know. He's just not aware of it. He's just like, oh, I think, the Japanese are, bigots. They don't like...
Because he does it for a better world. A world that is free of bigotry. That's what he does it for. That's why I wonder. I want some virtual reality set up that shows what the world looks like that these people want to have. How does that manifest? What are the people doing in that world? What are they thinking? What are they saying? What are they making in their free time? Because I can't imagine it. I only see a devoid place where nothing lives anymore.
All right, let's try and keep going.
If you were to make an observation that was like, the problematic nature of American media centers around tacitly supporting modern white supremacy, whereas...
Oh, boy.
Modern white supremacy, the thing that you socialists came up with. They defined it. No one else. The SJWs defined modern white supremacy. Not any white supremacists. Because they apparently can't do it right.
Modern white supremacy in the West. Okay, he's changing topics. Is that mean...
because as we now know, I think the United Nations secretary of whatever, I think it's the corrupt guy from Zimbabwe, said that white supremacy is now a global threat. It was just the other day.
Okay, Joe Crazy. To these progressives, the Asians are only minorities to be protected when it's convenient for them?
Yes, but Asians are now white, so they're white supremacists. Because white is now defined by whether you are meritocratic or not. Which means that if you're not meritocratic, you are essentially lazy. So to not be white, you must be lazy. Then you are allowed to be black. So they think by this definition that black people are lazy. And I also now think that Slavs are black for some reason, the palest people on the planet. Because they think they're lazy. And had trouble immigrating into the US because they didn't speak English. That is how they define the races and whether you are of or white. It's just absolutely crazy. They are the 5-year-old kids that redefine everything in order to win the argument. They change the rules throughout the game in order to win. And that is not fun to play for anyone except them. And then they wonder why no one wants to play with them.
All right. Well, let's see how he bashes on the West some more.
He propagates racism through historical revisionism around the empire and colonialism, then I'd be like, hell yeah, that's a useful comparison.
Okay, so now it's historical revisionism via colonialism or whatever.
What the fuck?
He is just launching this bingo card all over the place.
We need bingo card.
We need new bingo cards. This one is just... oh, boy.
Holy shit. And I don't want to be lectured by a socialist about historical revisionism, because that's what they always do.
Yeah.
You know, in East Germany, there where we have way too much left real socialist influence in the government. We have state governments that are complete socialist alliances with the Greens. They're dominant, and they keep renaming streets after really horrible socialist personalities. It's disgusting. I don't want to be reminded that of Ernst Thälmann and Walter Ulbricht. Those were horrible people with horrible ideas. To quote Walter Ulbricht, who laid out the plan to how East Germany was supposed to work. In 1945, he said, "It has to look democratic, but we have to have it all in our hands." He was a democratic socialist. That is what democratic socialist means. It means it looks democratic. That's really all it is. Don't fall for that term. Don't fall for it.
However, the other half of the sentence, Japanese media is usually sexist, is, and Western media is not. Worse than that, the sentence is...
What? Let's try that again.
I'm not even inferring that so much stuff.
Japanese media is usually sexist, is...
Message coming in.
Western media is not.
Patching it through.
Worse than that, the sentence is probably Japanese media is usually sexist and normal media is not. We look at anime in this way from a Western perspective, and honestly,
I'm not even sure what he's getting at.
The straw man is getting bigger. You want to take that to Burning Man? My God. You think that anime is not normal media? It's one of the biggest media subcultures that exist.
I'm still trying to process what the hell he's talking about. Is he referring to media in general is not sexist, but Japanese is?
No, he's making the allegation that people that somehow people come up with the idea that the West isn't sexist. No, I don't know who's supposed to say that. Feminists wouldn't say that. And people who like anime wouldn't say either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know who the strawman is even targeted.
Yeah, is he confused and trying to figure out what the hell he's trying to say? Is like what?
Yeah, he is currently trying to. He's having a logical process. He is trying logical reasoning here at this in this moment, but he's not getting anywhere. So he is capable of the process and the comprehension of logic, but he doesn't know how to apply it. I think he's lacking a few key features like, hey, reality check. Hey, does this idea have substance? Hey, maybe I shouldn't record my initial thought process on how I try to map and figure out something and comprehend something and articulate it in an edited YouTube video.
Yeah.
When I do this here on stream and I have an idea and try to articulate it because I haven't thought about it before, because it's a new thing. Yeah, I struggle and I stumble and I mumble, but this is live. He is doing an edited video. He has no excuse to put this garbage in there.
Yeah, this is I'm just lost as to what he's trying to get at. But let's just try and get through this. Rock Suzuki again. I need to watch so much degenerate weeb anime after this, Smud. Think I'm gonna watch Monster Girl Musume. Hey, after this to cleanse my soul. That should heal me. You know what? Watch both of them. Watch the the original and the Doctor one too.
Just if you need something wholesome, watch Ika Musume. Ika Musume is good.
I think
wholesome.
I think most of the Monster Musume ones are pretty well. You know, some of them are perverted, but that's the point. So,
Ika Musume is a little squid girl who works part-time in a beach restaurant. And it's just innocent and nice and silly. It's great.
All right, let's keep going.
A little hypocritical to point to the worst examples of anime as problematic when we, as a culture, produced Gotham.
You're a hypnotist, right?
A hypnotherapist.
Oh,
I didn't
therapist.
produce that.
It's a funny word, therapist. It can either mean therapist or the rapist. So
what? It's a weird show about the origin of Batman that went on for a few years.
You know, characters, when they're not prior established as super competent or something, characters in a show or in a comic or in a book, they can say stupid and silly things.
That was what's his name?
An inappropriate thing.
That was the not too bright or not too intelligent cop who works with the would-be commissioner. Burdock? What's his name?
I don't know. I haven't seen Gotham.
Oh well, I saw the first season back in the day, but it's not a horrible it's not a horrible show. There's some dumb things in it. But
yeah, but if the character is not too bright and stumbles upon his words and says inappropriate things, then it's so fine. It's fine. Then where's the problem with that?
Like I could point to all kinds of shows that have bad dialogue. So Bullock, thank you, Bullock.
Yeah, but here's if you say this character is not very competent, then it's fine for him having bad dialogue. That is kind of part of it, and of being not so competent. You say dumb things, and in the eyes of the social justice types, all characters always need to be competent and politically correct, and know all the rules of political correctness. and magically.
This is
including the villains.
This isn't a story of Batman's his hometown of Gotham, which is completely corrupt. And you got this dude who knows how to work the system. He doesn't try to change it. I think his name is Harvey or something. And then you have the would-be police commissioner trying to fix things the proper way. So you need that difference between the old and the new. It's a simple setup for a cop drama or a police procedural, or whatever you want to call it, that style of story that happens to involve a superhero setting. So I don't see yes, that's a pretty cheesy line, but so what? That's not the whole show. Anyway.
Remember, all villains have to act politically correct, no matter how evil they are.
I want to know, there's so many examples of bad writing. I want to know tell me why that scene was bad. I know why it's bad for certain reasons, but they're not very good reasons. It depends on anyway, I've seen enough of the show to know why it's good and bad. I don't want to go into it. Let's just keep going.
Now who's really behind these bandages?
It turns out you can't criticize it. It's from another culture. It's actually a very thin veil for things from other cultures are dumb and stupid. I don't have to think seriously about them, and I can enjoy all the homophobia and sexism and racism and big titty I like.
They're not there. They are not there, sir. You're projecting.
Wait, so you do have a problem with big titty. He just admitted he has a problem with big titty. He implies that's a bad thing to like.
Let's assume
it's on the same. It's for him. It's on the same level as homophobia.
Yeah, but let's assume those things are all in anime. Why is that a bad thing? Why wouldn't you want that in your anime?
In order to understand why it's bad, you need to depict it correctly as it is in reality, because it's a horrible thing to see.
Why would you want to read completely neutered stories or watch completely neutered anime? I want crazy stuff. I want really rich stories with characters who are Nazis and homophobes. And guess what? Some of them are vampire Nazis. That's cool.
Ooh.
I want to see that show. I want to see their heads get blown away and come back together because they're vampires and you have to figure out how to kill them. That's neat. Go for it. Push the boundaries. That's why you have anime, to do things you can't do in real life or on the page. You want it animated. You want to see it move. That's a good thing. Load up your stories with as much thought-provoking ideas and imagery, and you'll have my attention. If you want to neuter and watch boring, flaccid, stupid shit like She-Ra, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, Steven Universe, whatever pastel, boring crap that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Here comes something into play. Here comes the oppression hierarchy Olympics thing that comes into play here, or the racial hierarchies, because he's telling us that we are fine to criticize other cultures. So first off, is this a question one? Is this a blanket statement? Does this count for every culture and race? Can criticize every other culture and race? Because you are telling us, you, the white guy, tells us, the potentially other white guys, that we can and have to criticize specific Asian cultures. Is that because they are oppressing us? Or is it a general thing, or are they oppressing us and therefore we are allowed to talk up to them?
Yeah,
because that would then mean that the Japanese are above us in the racial hierarchy. That would mean they are worse at white supremacy. On the other hand, it raises the question: if this is a general statement, does that allow that we are now allowed to criticize, I don't know, black suburban American culture, or certain religious extremist cultures? Is that okay for us now?
Yeah,
or is that not allowed because we're punching down? Because this is the Pandora's box he's opening here.
Well,
he's probably not aware of it.
How can you say that the Japanese media, entertainment industry, and animation is oppressing people? Like, how does entertainment control? Like, what is he getting at here? That the media is influencing us because we like large-breasted women suddenly? Like we didn't know this before? Like suddenly, oh my God, I now have the thing I never knew I wanted.
These people, yeah, this is the fun, because social justice deny biology. They do not understand why human women have the breasts they have. They do not know, they do not understand. And if you explain it to them, it's as if you're talking in tongues. They do not understand that human women have the breasts they have in order to attract mates. Because we are walking upright. We are not able to just, like all the other animals, we're not looking at asses anymore. Of course, yeah, there are people who are more into asses than boobs. Sure. However, hi Zach.
Hello.
Hey.
However, the point is, we're walking upright now. It's not so easy that when you're looking straight, it's not so easy to see asses anymore. So, women develop breasts, evolutionary, human women, for two reasons. Number one, it is a fake human ass. It is a fake human ass. It is like certain plants are looking like certain insects, so that the insects are attracted to it to mate with the plant to get the pollen. So they're not actually giving them any nectar; they're just fakery. The second reason why human women have breasts is because they look as if they are filled with milk. That's why the fatty tissue is there. It mimics being pregnant, which signals this woman is fertile.
Mommy milkers.
Yes, and that is why large breasts are attractive and why they keep developing. Why the evolution of the human species gave human women large breasts. It is all about sexuality. It is all about reproduction. And you're telling us that that human female breasts are not sexual in any way, that there's nothing sexual about them. You are an idiot. Probably gay.
Round Knight just gave a great comment. Is this the prison school argument? There's a scene in Prison School where a guy is trying to say, what do you like better, breasts or ass? And he knows the guy who's asking the question loves. It's that famous meme about ass, is that gentleman who loves ass. And he says, why do you love ass? And he has to give an explanation. And it's like that, well, men, before we had standing on our legs and walked, we walked on our fours and we stared at ass. He's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll be right back. I just got a few things to take care of. I just wanted to pop in
and
say, this guy's retarded. And I was listening to this on my way back from the vet. Cat is okay I saw someone asking in the chat.
Well, thank you, Zach.
He got some painkillers and took home some pain meds, so he's okay. Just had to make sure. $286 later.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hooray.
Okay, Zach, we'll see you soon, okay?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right, Roxas Uzi. Dude hasn't seen a pair of real ones in his life. I don't know if the ones he currently has are real or what, but
What?
Yeah, have you seen our chat there? Wisp?
No.
Well, you'll see it right there.
Don't tell. No.
Yep.
This looks like normal, slightly overweight moves. If this guy had dysphoria, he would have gotten rid of his beard, for fuck's sake. You were telling me this guy is on hormones?
I don't know.
Or is this a trans man?
It's probably a trans man. I don't question it. I just accept it and move on with my life. I know you have something to say right now. Let's not go into it, okay? Oh, boy. Roxas Uzi again. Big old biddies are greater than booty. Okay, everyone has their preference. Not going to argue. It's totally cool. All right, Zach, you there? Oh, he's probably too busy. Okay. I got to cut this stream short, guys. I'll give it 10 more minutes, okay? All right, let's keep going.
As long as it's from Dunn. So I guess I I guess I need to convince you to take anime seriously in order to show you there's a problem. I guess to talk about this, I'm gonna first have to convince you that anime is good. I've decided the best approach I have is to talk about some animes I found that I really like.
Section 2. Some animes I found that I really like.
I have friends who stopped watching anime altogether because they found it to be so full of weird, bigoted bullshit. And when I was a very casual viewer, I'd check out an anime now and then that everyone was talking about, like One Punch Man, and I'd be enjoying it well enough. And then a black character would show up, the only one in the show, and he'd have thick pink lips and bulging eyes, and only ever show up to remind people how dim-witted he was. Or a gay character who's essentially one long prison rape joke.
Okay, so we know the black character is not actually in fact black, or originally was not black until he transformed. And Puni Prisoner is playing around with the what's the term I think you were referring to, the gay, fantastically gay. What's the term? I can't remember. Flamboyantly gay, and he's attracted to men and whatever. So he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, he's also another thing. That kind of chin is mimicking the exact thing you think it mimics. There's a lot of weird stuff about the human body that mimics other parts of the human body. Don't think too much about, because you may not be able to unsee it.
So apparently these elements are bad, because you can't have a white guy who transforms into a big black guy. And you can't have a homosexual as well as very masculine man who's attracted to other men be a superhero. You can't do that, guys. It's bad.
How old is this video again?
2 years.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
And then I'd stop watching anime for a few months. It's important to acknowledge this outsider perspective, because as much as I think it's created by the anime is cursed meme, I think this perspective also creates it.
It's a meme?
If the medium you...
Wait. Anime is cursed is a meme?
Is that a social justice meme?
It's got to be.
Those are shit. Social justice memes are not memes. They're just propaganda.
I've never seen that. Nope. There doesn't exist.
The difference is small but significant. I don't believe that's an actual meme.
I think anime is cursed on Reddit in July of 2019, but everything else is just the 18 most horrifying anime curses, 5 anime about curses, 78 cursed anime images on Pinterest. But no, it's not a meme. Oh, and the guy who posted on Reddit is talking about watching JoJo. Is anime
people say cursed, and usually
and the
just
reason
mean ugly things that
No.
burn themselves into your mind.
The reason why he says it's cursed is because he's talking about, is anime cursed to have nudity when my parents walk in? So this has happened to many people. So you're watching a movie and then the sex scene comes on and your parents walk in the door.
Yeah, but that's a common thing also for Hollywood movies and Netflix series, because they have actual unnecessary sex scenes in them.
So,
I don't see them outside of hentai. I do not see unnecessary sex scenes in them.
So the only thing about anime being cursed is his video at the top of the list on Google. Okay?
So another thing he made up. Why do these people make everything up?
You know what the second one is? This stream. Okay? So there is no meme. There is no Reddit. There's no subreddit.
It is so made up that us talking about it is more valid. Oh my god.
Okay, so, yeah. This guy cannot watch One Punch Man because of a homosexual character and a big black man is in it. Couldn't do it.
Repressed gay, I tell you.
I don't know. Well, obviously he's a transsexual fellow, but it's just if you're going to poison the well and saying you have a borderline personality disorder, you are opening yourself up for so much analysis, ridicule, joking. You're crazy. You're not thinking straight. All kinds of silly comments. Yeah. That's not a defense.
It's my personal take, and I'm not a trained psychologist, but from my personal experience, a competent psychotherapist would not give you an indication for gender dysphoria, for transsexuality, however you want to call it, an indication to transition if you have a borderline personality disorder, because the borderline personality disorder implies that you cannot discern between internal and external objects to a certain degree, and that you make up shit, that you seek attention, and that you are prone to Munchausen syndrome or hypochondria. So, fuck you.
I'm back, by the way.
Hey.
You have to, before you get an indication for that, we need to do something about the borderline. So either that's a misdiagnosis, or we need to do a lot of therapy so that you can know whether you actually have the thing you want to treat with this weird drug cocktail.
So what I've gathered from what little bit that I've been able to catch, Curio is retarded, Western anime bad, Western media bad, Japanese media based, and pedophiles.
No. He hates Japanese anime.
Okay.
And
everything I do not like is bad, and you have to hate it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I don't know.
I don't know how you can counter that. I mean, it's pretty sound to me.
I'm not even sure this is worth continuing. I mean, I'm going to end it soon anyway, but if you guys want to continue tomorrow, it's up to you. Curio is just so ensconced in whatever he's into, and it's just like, dude, have you talked to anime fans before?
I don't think he's talked to anybody ever about anything.
He's only in his little bubble with his weird friends.
Yeah.
I think the only people he's talked to is like the cashier at the bookstore where he bought those books from behind him.
Oh, look, here's a thing my friends do, so I copy it.
That's probably like the only person he's ever talked to. Also, Jay Exy from EFAP follows him on Twitter. Yeah, not surprising.
Is what on Twitter?
Jay Exy from EFAP follows him on Twitter.
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's to make fun of him or what, but yeah.
He's engaged with me a few times, doesn't like me very much. So apparently I'm a bit Curio. Apparently I'm a bigot, so, you know.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah, of course, everyone's a bigot but him. Of course.
I would hate to find out what he would say about me.
So what do you guys think?
I can't really be a bigot because I'm a ghost. But
what do you guys think? Should we cover the rest of this tomorrow? Or
I'm honestly interested in figuring out how he fills the other 25 minutes with even more of this insanity. And these straw men that aim at no one. Can you imagine trying to sit in a room with someone like this and try to reason for an entire afternoon? You can't leave.
I think the chat's saying they want us to continue tomorrow.
All right. We can continue tomorrow. That's fine. I just got to get going, and I apologize. I have meetings with other people across the world, and it's just
lame.
Time works that way, I know. But I'm glad I got Zach on for as quick as you could, but, you know, things happen. Life happens. I understand.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll go faster tomorrow, depending on how crazy this gets. We're not even halfway done. Like, this is...
You guys got 9.5 minutes through this video.
We were having some fun. Yeah, you know.
I take all the blame. Hawk isn't here.
We always blame Hawk, and if Hawk isn't here...
I mean, just the fact that Wisp is on is more than reason enough.
I think every time we cover a Curio, we should have Wisp on, just for the sake of
just for
I bet he thinks I'm a transphobe.
Something like, yeah, it's like, oh, those guys were a bunch of bigots last time. They talked about me. You know, it's like, no, we're just listening to your crazy takes.
No, we just apply logic and, common sense to the bullshit you say.
All right.
That's okay. I guess we're bigots.
Okay, here's Joe Crazy. Thanks, Joe. Wrong, Roxas. Booty is greater than biddies. Oh, my goodness. Guys, don't fight over what you like. Those are preferences.
This will be the final fight of humanity. Once all nations have merged into one, all cultures are one homogeneous blob, the last fight humanity will fight will be booty over titty.
Boobs. Boobs good.
I'm all with you.
Actually, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance of both.
Large breasts are filled with dreams.
Dreams. I thought you said greens, like
no,
as in large breasts are healthy.
Yeah, that they are as well.
Which is true, but
yeah, you should look for about 20 minutes a day at least a D cup. It releases nice hormones in your body that also reduce risk for certain cancers.
Wow.
Premium.com.
No, you can use wholesome pictures, like get a girlfriend.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you now.
What? All right, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Hopefully, we'll get more than half. Hopefully, we'll finish it off, unless we get pissed off and just say this is waste of everyone's time. So, but we will
you
have.
Just don't want me to autism anymore.
We could talk about autism. It depends on whether or not he causes us to go autistic and think, like, oh my God, what is he talking about? Yeah, so
autism is contagious.
Yeah, well, the weekend will be a little different.
No.
I've been talking to some people. We're doing some interesting things on the weekend, but I have yet to announce them. We'll find out on Friday what's happening. But Friday we are going to probably be doing Renegade Cut, just because it's that time of the month. But whole bunch of crazy people lined up for you guys, except the weekend. We'll have some fun. All right? Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, good evening. We'll talk to you soon. Have yourself a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.